people to share God's Word. Over 5,000 Youth with a Mission volunteers, including Christian recording artist Rich Mullins, preached the gospel to those who had gathered from the four corners of the world in Barcelona, Spain.
Hi, this is Rich Mullins, and we can reach the world with the gospel in our generation. By serving on a YWAM outreach team, you can play a vital role and impact the world with God's life-changing message of love. So take action and go by contacting my friends at Youth with a Mission.
And you can contact Youth with a Mission at Post Office Box 681147, Franklin, Tennessee 37068. Or call 1-800-456-YWAM. That's 1-800-456-YWAM.
One of your artists is Rich Mullins, who is a favorite here in St. Louis, very popular, and nationally, I'm sure.
Yes.
Tell us, though, it seems as though we've been hearing things about that maybe there's a twist or a change coming in his career, less touring and all of that. What's going on with Rich?
Well, basically, last year, he said, I'm not going to do any more of these 3-4 month runs where he runs out and does, 60 shows or, 40 to 60 shows in one shot.
Right.
And he said, I really want to go back to school. I really want to continue in music. And he's real involved with the camp that he does on weekends. It's kind of a retreat type thing. And he's real focused on that. And so he's back in school in Wichita. And so obviously that takes a lot of his time right now. And we're continuing on working The World as Best as I Remember It, Volume 2, which is his current record. And then when his summer break comes along, we'll get back into the studio and start working on the next record. And so there's definitely a future in music for Rich. He just has other ambitions.
Sure.
A lot of times people just want to do records or they, want to tour a lot. And he's saying, wow, I've been out on missions trips and I've been around. I want to teach. I want to teach music. And so he has a lot of priorities in his life that he wants to do and accomplish while he's here. And so that's what he's doing. And his next record they're talking about is a 14-song record.
Wow.
And it's kind of going to be an event, I think. I mean, he wants to bring in real good musician friends of his and just play, not come out all polished and, go back and do that line again. It's not quite right. He wants to say, this is what we do, and this is, we just sat down and played, and we recorded this for you.
Kind of like a live studio sound?
Kind of, but it'll be probably a little more recorded, a little more polished than that, because I'm sure they'll go back and redo some things, but just not to the extent of so produced and that kind of thing. Bring in Reed Arvin, who's produced all of his records, great piano player. Maybe Jimmy A, come in and play guitar and some things like that. It's all real initial right now, and they're still throwing ideas around. And he was talking about titling it. He loves long titles. The Liturgy, the Legacy, and the Ragamuffin Band. Gosh, I hope I can say this. But anyway, that may not all come out, so if it's not ever in the store, don't blame me. But because he wanted to come out and do some of those traditional hymn-type songs on half his record, and half his record, do his typical songs that he likes to write. And so it could be an interesting concept for a record. Leave it to Rich to come up with something interesting, because he certainly can. He always does.
I was just going to say, if there's one thing you can expect from Rich, it's the unexpected, because
true.
He is incredible.
It's true. He travels with his dogs in his truck and drives all across the country in his pickup, doing concerts, and comes out with no shoes on. He does own shoes, and he does own jeans without holes in them. People have asked me that, so trust me. Got his hair cut. He has short hair these days.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he looks like he did back in the early days on those records. We were kind of teasing him, but don't tell him that. He doesn't like that.
Well, I would love to be like a little fly that flies around Wichita. He's going to school now. I heard that he was actually leading the choir in his church.
Yes, and let me tell you his degree.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's going to be in music ethnicology. I don't know. I do not know. No.
What does that mean?
Well, the other thing that he said about it was that he wants to teach music on a reservation.
Oh, okay.
He has a real interest in Indians and that type of thing. So
his father doesn't his father? I don't know if he's like native Indian or not.
He's passed away, but he really wants to study the history of music, and you can hear on his records just all the different instrumentation that he's so interested and intrigued with. And we gave him a hammered dulcimer recently this year, and he was just shocked. His had gotten damaged on the road. And, you don't just go out and buy a hammered dulcimer.
Right.
So there was a guy, I think it was in North Carolina, that hand makes those. And so we presented him with one, and it had an extra octave, and we didn't even know. He's like, wow, this has an extra octave. And we're like, we knew that all along. Yeah.
There probably wasn't anything you could have gotten. I mean, a plaque or an award would have meant nothing
In
to him.
fact, I did give him one for his #1 song, Sometimes by Step. At the same time, he left it behind.
Did he really?
There you go. That's Rich Mullins.
That's neat. That's great. Why don't we hear a song from him, and who do you want to talk about?